Hello, everyone. My name is Viniti, and I'm Singaporean. I live in Singapore, and I have written a novel called The Low Caste, and it's a romantic thriller, and it's set in Singapore and India. And it's about this young girl called Sunena Verma who has an arranged marriage. She's growing up in Delhi, but she has an arranged marriage with an investment banker in Singapore. And when she comes to Singapore, she realizes that she's embroiled in a case of financial fraud. So I don't know how many of you are aware, but there is a lot of. Singapore is one of the financial hubs in the world. Um, so anyway, she's involved in a case of financial fraud, and the novel is about how she gets out of it and comes back to New Delhi, where she has been having an interfaith romance. So the themes in my novel are greed and love. So this is the first chapter, and it's about a party where a billionaire is being entertained in a home in Singapore. So I believe I have only 9 minutes, so I'll try. Okay, all right. Um, so this, sorry? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, that's better. Oh, thanks. Okay. So the chapter is called Party for a Billionaire. That's just a dead cat bounce, drawled Manasegaran in an American accent, which could not disguise the underlying Indian intonation. I wouldn't put any money into that stock if I were you. Guests surrounding Manasegaran nodded respectfully at the billionaire investor's advice, hanging on to his every word. A young budding banker who had not yet learned the art of professional subterfuge asked, "What's a dead cat bounce?" See, when you throw a cat from like the seventh floor, it will bounce after it hits the sidewalk. But it's already dead when it hits the ground. So that bounce does not mean anything. Stocks are the same. Sometimes a stock will go up for a bit, but it has no meaning because it's not based on any market trend. That's a dead cat bounce. The hostess, Malika Sharma, had prepared her bungalow meticulously for this dinner party. Partial to spectacular flower arrangements, Malika's antique Chinese vases were full of tall white lilies. She had bought the lilies with her best friend Sunena in the Holland Village market, well known in Singapore for fresh flowers thrown there every morning from all over Southeast Asia. They had bought nearly 100 4 feet tall, half opened lilies and arranged them all over the sprawling bungalow. Both the overwhelming fragrance and cost made Sunena somewhat nauseous, though she pretended to be bright, brisk, and busy. She had come to Malika's house early to help her out. Her husband Tarun was coming to the party later with the other guests. Though aware that in a glamorous party like this, she might be the only one in Indian clothes, Sunena was wearing a sari. Since she had started living outside India 3 years ago, she was always strapped for cash. Her saris, received as gifts at her wedding, were her finest clothes. She had chosen a light colored chiffon dotted with a few sequins that draped beautifully around her lithe figure. Sunena walked with as much confidence as she could muster across Malika Sharma's living room, which sparkled under an enormous bejeweled chandelier. Custom made in Jaipur for this property, the crystal chandelier was a hammock of diamonds across the ceiling. It was a singular property, a California style house in densely populated Singapore, where most people lived in tiny apartments. The cerulean water of the swimming pool was surrounded by rock gardens and frangipani trees. Due to the numerous glass walls, the house had memorable views, though Malika had to keep the air conditioning on at all times to keep the house cool. Once, when Sunena reminded her to turn off the air conditioning as they were leaving Malika's house, the latter remarked, "Oh, never mind. The house will be nice and cool when we come back." Rumor had it that Rajiv Sharma, Malika's husband, who had graduated from the Wharton School and worked on Wall Street before joining Sachs, Templeton, and Jenrette, the prestigious global investment bank, had paid millions for this property. His career graph was steep. He was currently the only Indian partner in his firm. Holding her head high, Sunena sashayed towards the swimming pool where the hors d'oeuvres and drinks were being served. Suddenly, Malika came up from behind and pinched her friend's exposed waist. The two girls held hands and giggled for a few minutes in excitement. "You look sexy in that sari," mouthed Malika, surprised to find her usually drab friend looking noticeable. "Come on, I'll introduce you to Asha, the billionaire's wife." The lanky Malika looked even more elegant today in a cream silk pantsuit with a halter neck. She wore dangling diamond earrings which nearly touched her bare shoulders. Despite this polished exterior, Malika had not lost her authentic core, though it surfaced only when she was confronted with a difficult situation. Malika's heart was racing as she saw her husband, Tarun, talking to the billionaire couple, Asha and Manasegaran, across the living room. Malika led her friend to them. "Asha, Mana, this is my best friend Sunena Agarwal, Tarun Agarwal's wife." Sunena flicked her hair behind her shoulders, a gesture she had practiced in front of the mirror for hours before coming to this party, and extended her hand to Asha. "So nice to see you, Asha." She then half turned to Tarun and asked coquettishly, "And do I know you?" The group laughed at what they assumed was a wife's flirtation with her husband. The look of shock across Tarun's face at his wife's confidence was lost on everyone. Tarun looked handsome in his tan trousers and navy shirt, even though he was short and plump. Sulena's husband was considered a good-looking young man. "Please call me Mana. Where did the two of you meet? Are there any more where she came from?" Everyone laughed over enthusiastically at the billionaire's joke. A glance at Asha, who was looking wounded at her husband's open flirtation, made Sunena suspect that she was probably used to this. "Our marriage was arranged," Tarun answered in lackluster fashion. "You see, Mana," said Sunena, winding her hair around her fingers, "the arranged marriage market is very much like the stock market. People buy, sell, or hold based on gut feeling." "Really?" murmured the billionaire, keeping his gaze on Sunena longer than would be warranted in polite company. "Tarun, your gut feeling is impressive. You better hold on to this stock. It's bound to go up." Tarun fumbled at first for an equally clever answer as everyone guffawed at Manasegaran's wit, but he recovered quickly. "Actually, I don't hold stock for too long. Too much of a risk taker, that's what I am. Shorting is my thing." Tarun's overconfidence as he made this claim was lost on everyone except his wife. "I see," remarked the billionaire, sounding impressed. "Then you are a very useful person for my hedge fund. Hedgie is short all the time. That's how we make money." The younger banker, who was confused earlier about the meaning of the phrase "dead cat bounce," asked another question about shorting stock, when Malika broke up the conversation by ushering the group towards the swimming pool. Sunena was relieved. she would not have been able to mask her fear of all these people any longer under a witty facade. Thank you.